COVID is in India. We must combat and win. The way we can combat can be thought of in three stages: transmission, diagnose and detect, treat and cure. Currently, we have over 150 cases approximately reported in India, and we have gone through all these three phases and we have cured a significant amount of cases. Now the challenge is, how do we behave in the transmission stage? In the transmission stage, the virus is looking for a host. It will find the host, plant itself and multiply. You and I can be the host. Now some of us are going to be infected. Our own immune system is going to fight, defeat it, and we will be cured. Some of us are going to be infected and unknowingly we are going to transmit it. And some of us are going to be infected and we will need the stage 2 and stage 3 treatments. All that we can do is to behave socially responsible individuals, families, and as communities. We must strictly follow social distancing and personal hygiene. The diagnose and detect phase can be thought of as two sets of tests: screening test and confirmatory test. We need to think through several aspects broadly: technology, manpower, access, affordability. Very important to think about all these four. Have we tested for coronavirus? No. However, the technology is the same as testing for any infectious disease. So the kits that need to be put into the testing may have to be modified a little bit. And the good news is ICMR and NIV have actually published the standard operating procedures for testing for coronavirus, and it is available today to all the laboratories. The second thing is the technicians to be operating the machines are also available. Now the challenge is the manpower that is required to draw the blood and transport it. Licensed technicians are required for drawing the blood. We call them as phlebotomists, and those people are also available. However, they may have risks of exposure to infected people, and we need to keep them motivated and working in drawing the blood. Now, so manpower is comfortably available today. We need to scale it up. Third part of it is access. How do we reach small towns like Arantangi in Tamil Nadu or Tanuku in Andhra Pradesh and make sure that we can draw the blood and transport it to different parts of the country for the lab testing? I think here again, we can say that the government of Andhra Pradesh alone has about 1,300 public health centers. Tamil Nadu government has well over 2,500 PHCs and 5,000 sub-PHCs available. So access should not be a problem. If there is a shortage of manpower, the private labs can potentially help in making sure we are able to reach every small town in India to diagnose and detect this virus. Now, affordability is a big question. The approximate cost of a screening test is around 1,000 rupees or $15. For a confirmatory test is around 7,000 rupees or about $100 in round numbers. When we look at a population of 1.33 billion people, and we look at even 10% coming in for screening tests, we are looking at a number like 133 million people. The cost is around $2 billion, 14,000 crores just for screening. Then we look at confirmatory tests, this cost can go to about 45 to 50,000 crores. Now these are not small numbers, and the affordability in underprivileged patients is a question. We need to figure out how do we provide for all of this at a later stage or as we plan for this. But at this point in time, it is important to recognize the good news is that we have the technology and the manpower. We need to get into meticulous planning stage and figure out how we can overcome and diagnose at this point in time. Our biggest challenge is to provide quality that is required, and that with the SOPs published, the government has already certified about 1,000 labs out of the 10,000 plus labs that are there as NABL certified, and the government must take the lead at this point in time in defining the role of private labs, NGOs and hospitals in the diagnostic stage. And I am confident government will come up with the right solution and seek help from the private labs and NGOs to figure out access to the smallest towns and provide the diagnosing of this virus. Treat and cure requires accurate detection and potentially isolation, hospitalization, medicines and the respirators for people with shortness of breath. It requires capacity planning and manpower planning. If we look at India, we have the talent it takes. Now we need to think of scaling it up so we can provide the complete treatment that is required. I am confident that every individual in this warlike situation that we have today will cooperate, do their best to support the government in fighting this virus war